What if one royal decision just flipped the entire narrative upside down overnight? Meghan Markle is said to be completely blindsided, and people everywhere are asking, what did Prince William just reveal? The timing couldn't be more intense. A shocking DNA twist has exploded into the spotlight, and insiders hint this could rewrite long-standing assumptions in a way nobody expected. So why now? And what's really behind it?
Yeah, nobody set out to destroy you. You destroyed yourselves in this country with your ludicrous, hypocritical behaviour. The truth be told, what she just said is complete and utter garbage by the British media, the public and the royal family that they've all now abandoned. That's the truth.
The buzz is moving fast. Reactions are pouring in, speculation is rising, and Meghan, already at the center of constant headlines, is suddenly pulled into a moment that could reshape how the public sees the entire royal circle.
Fascinating reporting coming from News Nation, the US news channel, and its head of entertainment, Paula Frolic, who reveals Prince William to change the monarchy forever.
And with William stepping forward so firmly, the tension feels impossible to ignore.
With either Archie or Lily, and it needs to happen. They need to prove that those children, Meghan and Harry, are not entitled to privacy in this matter. And their privacy is trumped by our right to know that no bastard is going to sit on the throne of this country.
Then came the move that escalated everything. A palace update dropped, and it hit hard. What seemed routine quickly turned into a headline-grabbing shock when Prince William, backed by the Crown and Privy Council, rejected a private DNA report connected to Prince Harry.
They're legally covering their backs. There's just too many unknowns. And then, of course, we have that the doctor that allegedly delivered Lily quit her practice 2 weeks after giving birth to Lily, or delivering Lily. That sentence there is missing.
That report was meant to quietly settle questions and confirm details within royal records. But instead, it did the opposite. It sparked even more curiosity, dragging the family back into the spotlight. Now the line has been drawn. William made it clear, no claim tied to the royal line moves forward without official verification. Private reports, completely dismissed.
Prince William doubles down. According to multiple sources, it's now a matter of when, not if, he strips Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their royal titles.
So why shut it down so fast? And what are they trying to control before the full story gets out? This just got deeper, because now it's not even about rumors anymore. It's about power. Who decides the truth inside the royal family, and who gets shut out?
The first thing is that these children are being raised in some type of freak show. You know, it's like they are Michael Jackson's children who were paraded to the world but covered up in masks. Yeah, but then remember, he covered their identities and their faces in masks. You know, so of course
what started as quiet tension has turned into a full-blown clash over trust, legacy, and control. Behind closed doors and across public conversations, people are asking the same thing. How did it spiral this far? It traces back to a major move. Prince Harry's legal team submitted a detailed 72-page file to Clarence House, laying out concerns, requests, and questions tied to recognition and security for his children.
They're very likely to be messed up, growing up with such messed up parents who are using them in such a mucked up manner. So that's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say on the titles is that I think what Prince William is acutely aware of, and this has certainly been my reporting, is that look at what happened when you allowed to run rampant for so many years, chasing the cash.
That wasn't a small step. It was a direct push for clarity. But instead of resolution, it triggered something bigger. Prince William stepped in and made it clear. Every claim linked to the royal line must go through official channels only. No exceptions, no outside verification.
Harry and Meghan Markle's surrogacy scandal has entered the mainstream media domain.
That shift changed everything. What seemed personal is now under strict royal protocol, turning a family disagreement into a high-stakes issue of authority. So if this is really about control, what happens next when both sides refuse to back down?
Meghan Markle gave birth to Lily because this is what's called plausible deniability. They want to be able to say, hey, we never claimed that she was our daughter in that announcement. They're legally covering their backs. There's just too many unknowns. And then, of course, we have that the doctor that allegedly delivered Lily quit her practice 2 weeks after giving birth to Lily or delivering Lily. That sentence there is missing. That is a vital sentence that Meghan Markle chose not to put in an official statement because she knows she would get into a lot of legal trouble and she needed plausible deniability.
Just when it seemed intense, the story took an even sharper turn because now attention shifted to details people can't stop debating. What really happened behind the scenes? It all traces back to that 72-page file from Prince Harry's legal team, outlining concerns about recognition and security. But insiders say it also sparked a lag of confusion, with mixed details raising new questions about how everything has been presented.
Harry and Meghan playing games that resulted in people unnecessarily questioning things. Again, every toxicity thing is result of them.
Then came the part that really got people talking. Reports claim palace teams reviewed photos from early 2019, closely analyzing public appearances.
Princess Lilibet Diana had been christened. Why would they use a title for their children that represents an institution they loathe so much?
2 moments from the same day in London stood out. Earlier images showed one look, while later photos seemed noticeably different. Naturally, that contrast sparked internal discussion. Some say experts even examined the images more deeply, trying to understand the changes. But here's the reality. Differences in posture, clothing, lighting, and camera angles can easily shift how things appear. Even so, the debate didn't slow down.
A lot of the royal watchers were complaining that they felt like her posts on social media where she barely shows the kids is almost taunting the king, who doesn't know these children, and how unfair this is.
At the same time, others pointed to how little official detail was publicly shared compared to past royal births.
Now they want to give their kids the titles of prince and princess, even though they don't live anywhere near the royal family, they don't do any duties, they do nothing to deserve it. They live in a mansion in Montecito in California and use their own royal titles to make loads of money.
Which were usually documented more formally. That gap alone kept the conversation going. Now, the pressure is building again. With questions stacking up and opinions everywhere, is this missing clarity the real issue, or is something else driving the story forward? Just when people thought the story couldn't get more complicated, it did. Because now, old details are being pulled back into the spotlight, and they're hitting differently this time.
That it just really kind of boggles the mind. I mean, just for titles, for example. So when Archie was first born, they said they didn't want him to have a title. He was going to be a private citizen. I was like, bravo, you understand. He's not going to be a working member of the royal family. He is going to have to live a normal life, get a normal job. That is fantastic. And then it came out later in the Oprah Winfrey interview. Well, they denied him a title and security because he is a mixed race child. And then it was kind of like,
for years, the lack of detailed medical commentary barely raised eyebrows, but now it's being re-examined as a possible gap in process, with people asking what really happened behind closed doors. Then came another moment that grabbed attention fast, the update to Archie's birth certificate. Reports say it was modified weeks after being filed, specifically changing how Meghan's name appeared, shifting to her royal title.
This case about whether you think the birth, even if Harry and Meghan right now are earning their own money, that well is drying up. You've got to take the ability for...
At the time, it was described as following internal guidance, but comparisons to other royal records only made it stand out more. What seemed like a simple adjustment suddenly became a major talking point, and once that door opened, every detail started getting picked apart. Then things took an unexpected turn. Reports mentioned a small financial transaction, $499, linked to a private medical facility known for discretion. On its own, it might not mean much, but combined with everything else, it raised more questions than answers. There were even mentions of confidentiality agreements tied to it, pushing the situation into deeper scrutiny. Now, all these scattered pieces are being looked at together, forming a much bigger picture. And as attention shifts back to strict royal traditions around lineage, the real question is, how far will this investigation go before the full truth comes out? If anything was going to test royal tradition to its core, this was it.
Birth was real, whether you think there was a surrogate, whether you think Meghan was wearing a moon bump. The fact is, Harry and Meghan lied. Buckingham Palace lied on their behalf. There was a complete cover-up over the birth of Prince William to damage the royal family in the future away. And you've got to do that now. You've got to do it swiftly.
Because now, all eyes turn to the one thing meant to settle everything, the DNA test itself. And instead of ending the questions, it created even more. The test was reportedly handled by a small private lab in California, and that alone raised eyebrows. People started asking, why there? Why not a more widely recognized or officially aligned facility? Then came concerns about how the samples were handled. Reports claimed they weren't transferred through a fully neutral, tightly controlled process. For something this sensitive, that detail instantly made people uneasy.
She was never pregnant at all. Instead, the videos emboldened conspiracy theorists. They're calling it Megspiracy, and the pair are being subjected to yet more merciless ridicule.
It didn't stop there. The lab wasn't listed under major UK accreditation systems or global standards typically expected for legal verification. That gap only added more doubt, especially given how serious royal matters are treated. Then another twist hit. The submission process was reportedly managed by a US-based attorney more familiar with family law than royal protocol, again raising questions about oversight. And just when it couldn't get more intense, a leaked email surfaced. One line stood out, suggesting the report only needed to appear solid on paper. That single phrase changed everything. Now the focus isn't just on the results, it's on the motive.
They decide, okay, well, we have to come out and show the baby in some way, but we're not coming out to the street. The filthy masses are not going to have anything to do with our kid. So then they show up and there's Meghan in her white dress with Harry, and he's holding this completely still baby.
This crisis won't die down until the irrefutable truth comes out.
So the real question is, was this ever about proving the truth or controlling how the story looks? What was supposed to be solid proof suddenly started looking strategic. And that shift changed everything, because now every step behind that DNA test is being re-examined under intense scrutiny. Then a new timeline surfaced, and it only made things messier. Records suggested a sample traveled from Los Angeles to London, but strangely another appeared to be routed to Zurich, Switzerland at the same time. Why send it in two directions? It gets more confusing. Reports claims the Swiss lab never even completed testing due to payment issues. Some insiders now believe this points to a backup plan, multiple paths ready depending on how things played out. And then came another twist. Data tied to the Zurich lab reportedly labeled the sample for practice use only, not formal verification. That detail alone made the whole situation feel harder to track, like pieces weren't lining up the way they should. Now, what once looked simple feels full of gaps. Questions keep sacking, and the pressure is rising fast. Buckingham Palace is no longer treating this as routine. It's being handled at the highest level. Then came a move no one expected. Prince William reportedly activated a rarely mentioned body focused on royal lineage oversight, pulling in legal, historical, and advisory experts. So if this group is now involved, what exactly are they preparing to uncover next? Now this is where things hit the core. Because this group isn't just reviewing paperwork, they're digging into what defines royal identity itself.
It's not like they haven't had the chance to. After all, they pumped out 6 hours of self-indulgent bilge on Netflix, trashing Britain and the press for its racism.
The panel's role is being described as highly significant, looking at not just documents, but long-standing traditions and rules that have shaped the monarchy for generations. And the big question hanging in the air, do those traditions still hold up when every detail can be analyzed and challenged? Reports say they've already requested multiple versions of official records tied to Archie and Lilibet, signaling this review is going deeper than anyone expected. We're talking travel timelines, security footage, even financial data, all under intense examination. And the stakes? Massive. If any findings challenge how royal succession is understood, it could ripple through titles, roles, and the entire structure of recognition within the family. Then another layer added pressure, inheritance. Princess Diana's estate, meant to pass through her sons to future generations, is now part of the conversation.
California Birth Index, and per the website, at the CaliforniaBirthIndex.org. The California Birth Index, or CABI, is a database that stores records of births in California for extracts of birth certificates. Putting her full official name of Rachel Meghan Markle, you can see that the official record shows.
Insiders claim Prince William has already discussed placing certain allocations on hold until the review is complete. That move alone raised tension fast, because if access to those funds is paused, it changes everything in the short term. Behind the scenes, reactions are said to be strong. Prince Harry is reportedly frustrated, with one widely shared quote claiming Diana would never have let royal concerns outweigh her care for her grandchildren. So now it's not just protocol, it's personal. And the question is, how far will this go before something gives?
Apparently, they invited all the royals to Lilibet's christening, but they all declined to come, as if they're all going to get on a plane and fly to California to embrace the people who've been trashing them for the last 3 years. But it looks like from the jungle drums, they have been invited.
She believed in hearts, not birth certificates. That line spread fast and instantly split opinion. Because while it struck an emotional chord, palace insiders are holding a very different position, insisting everything must follow strict structure and long-standing rules until the review is complete. And that's where the pressure builds. The reported financial hold isn't being seen as temporary anymore. It's starting to look like part of a bigger strategy. Behind palace doors, Prince William's influence appears to be tightening, shaping how every move is handled. Then another major figure stepped in, King Charles III. Reports claim a previously sealed memo of his has been brought back into focus, and just its reported title has people talking.
Duchess of Sussex, no longer HRH, was safely delivered of a son, and she and her child are both doing well. So back to the tradition of putting out a framed bulletin or a gilded easel outside Buckingham Palace after royal births has been going on since 1837, so it's a cool tradition. And George, Charlotte, and Louis' easels listed the doctors' names with signatures, birth weight and time, and referenced the royal family.
Sussex children and the threshold of trust. What does that even mean? The document is said to be highly protected, possibly reflecting early concerns at the highest level. Some believe it outlines stricter standards for royal recognition. If true, that would mark a serious shift. But the response didn't stay quiet. Meghan Markle's legal team reportedly fired back with a major court filing, accusing Prince William and the Privy Council of going too far. At the center of it all is a powerful argument that Archie and Lilibet's status involves broader international rights, not just royal tradition. So now this isn't just a royal issue anymore. It's crossing into something much bigger. The question is, who actually has the final say when tradition and law collide?
Meghan's Netflix series, released to the world this morning, is packed with, well, not really revelations, are they? It's sort of rehashed old revelations with a new twist. As it turns out, we've apparently been wrong all along. Britain is a nasty, racist hellhole where only magnificent Meghan stood up to all this and the world's biggest victim.
Now this situation is breaking out of royal walls and into something much bigger, because this move could push everything into a global legal spotlight, where tradition collides head-on with modern law. Meghan's side is reportedly leaning on international legal standards, arguing that internal royal records alone shouldn't have the final say on identity or recognition. That claim alone raises serious stakes, because if accepted, it challenges how the monarchy has operated for generations.
Their filing didn't just focus on legal points. It also included personal family moments, aiming to show the human side behind the case. But while that pressure builds, the palace has stayed silent, and insiders say that silence is completely intentional. Behind the scenes, the divide is now impossible to hide. Prince Anne is said to fully support Prince William, even backing the idea of an independent review to settle things. Meanwhile, Prince Edward reportedly worries about how intense this has become, but still believes the monarchy must appear steady.
And if she wants to do anything politically in America, which is on and off with her, isn't it? She can't do it with the title. So what's she worried about? Just drop out, but she won't, because she's so determined to get her own back. And that it needs someone strong like William who's going to absolutely push it through.
I absolutely agree.
And then there's the personal side. Prince Harry is described as deeply upset, with reports of a short, tense exchange between him and William showing just how far things have drifted. What started as paperwork has turned into something far heavier, mixing law, family, and legacy at the highest level. Now, a final report is said to be in the hands of just a few key decision makers, and the outcome? It won't just affect 2 children, it could reshape everything. So the real question is, what happens when that decision is finally revealed? everything is about to hit the surface, and both sides are getting ready to speak. Because while the palace stays silent, a major response is already in motion. Meghan Markle, who has stayed mostly quiet, is now reportedly preparing a recorded statement, one that could shift the entire narrative. Sources claim it's already filmed and ready to drop right after the final decision, and it's said to be deeply personal, focusing on her experiences under intense public pressure.
As a result of the bizarre conduct of a cheap hustler and her dope of a husband, is entirely unnecessary and should be cleared up. There is no justifiable reason why the British public should have to put up with a doubtful situation when it has been generally accepted practice since 1688 that all royal births should be publicly attested so that there can be no question as to the entitlement of an infant to his or her place in the line of succession.
One line being widely discussed says, "I carried my children, I gave birth to them, and now they're being erased. This isn't about lineage, it's about power, fear, and control." If that message lands the way people expect, it could change everything. But that's only one side. Prince William is also preparing a response. Quiet, controlled, but just as powerful. Insiders say his speech focuses on duty, structure, and protecting long-standing standards, with one striking line: "This decision was not made with malice, it was made with duty." Now the stage is set. Two very different messages, both ready to drop at the exact moment the final decision is revealed. And just when it couldn't get more intense, reports of a private jet heading to London started circulating, with almost no details confirmed. So now everyone's asking, who's arriving, and what do they know that could change everything at the last second? Now this is where things take a sharp turn, because a leaked travel record just raised a huge question. Who's really on that plane? According to reports, the manifest lists Henry Mountbatten Windsor, traveling from California with 2 young dependents on a private jet.
Meghan Markle has changed her name on her son's birth certificate. On the original birth certificate, registered on May 17, 2019, the Duchess gave her name as Rachel Meghan, Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. Oh, that's quite a name.
That alone grabbed attention, but what's missing is what really sparked debate. Meghan Markle's name reportedly isn't on the list, and that absence, it instantly set off speculation everywhere. Why wouldn't she be there? And what does that mean? Even more unusual, the trip appears completely under the radar. No confirmed security coordination, no press acknowledgement, nothing. It's the kind of silence that only makes things louder. Insiders are now suggesting Prince Harry could be heading to the UK with his children. If true, that's a major moment. Could it open the door to reconciliation, or push everything closer to a breaking point? Some believe he may want to present his children directly to King Charles, making this personal, not procedural. But others warn that move could intensify tensions instead of easing them.
And just when it feels unpredictable, another theory starts spreading. What if this trip isn't the real story at all? So now the question is, what's actually happening behind the scenes while everyone's watching the skies? This family plays chess, not checkers. That one line says everything, because right now, nothing feels certain until that plane actually lands. The tension outside Buckingham Palace is unreal. Cameras are locked in, reporters are waiting, and the world is watching like something historic is about to unfold.
I've got the breaking royal celebrity news.
Headlines are exploding with talk of a turning point, and public opinion completely split. Some see Meghan as a modern figure under pressure from rigid traditions. Others see Prince William as protecting the crown when it matters most. The divide is loud, emotional, and growing fast. And right in the middle of it all, Prince Harry, torn between family and duty. His role has become one of the biggest questions in this entire situation. Now everything comes down to the final decision. If it supports recognition, it could reshape royal expectations and signal a major shift forward. But if it goes the other way, it could mean a formal break, changing titles, roles, and future involvement forever. Either outcome leaves a mark far beyond this moment, because this isn't just about one issue, it's about where the monarchy goes next. And for Harry, the stakes feel even heavier. There's growing talk of consequences that could push him further away than ever before. So now the final question is, when this all ends, will the royal family still stand united, or will this moment change everything for good? Just when it felt like everything was about to settle, one final twist raised the stakes even higher, because hidden within royal protocol is a little-known clause, one that could give ultimate authority to the King or Prince of Wales to uphold or challenge the final decision.
Fewer titles mean there is less of a chance for a degenerate like Prince Andrew, now called Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, to slip through. Which means, as I previously reported, Harry and Meghan will lose their titles, as well as Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie.
Even with that power on the table, insiders say Prince William isn't planning to interfere. Instead, he's reportedly standing firm, accepting whatever outcome comes, believing consistency is what protects the crown. As one aide put it, this isn't about family anymore, it's about the future of the crown. And that's what makes this moment so heavy. 2 brothers, 2 children, a system built on centuries of tradition, now facing one of its biggest tests yet. Then morning breaks over London, and everything changes. At exactly 6:42 a.m., a private jet cuts through the clouds and descends toward a secure military airfield. Not a public arrival, not a media moment, something far more controlled. No crowds, no ceremony, just silence, security, and precision. Black vehicles waiting, senior officials on standby. The message is clear. This is serious. Then the door opens. Prince Harry steps out. Calm, but visibly carrying the weight of everything. No waves, no words, just a quiet step forward. And then he turns back. 2 small figures appear beside him. For the first time in this moment, it's not headlines or documents. It's real. A father and his children, stepping into a situation filled with pressure, history, and emotion all at once. This isn't just another chapter. It feels like a turning point that could define everything that comes next. So now that it's real, what do you think happens next?